Hello, I'm Jamie Buckland with West Virginia Few Families United for Education, and thought I would come on and talk a little bit about updates on the Hope Scholarship. I was out last week on vacation, and so I've been listening to questions and trying to keep track on all of those things. And we just had a coalition call and talked with Adam and Amy from the treasurer's office. Looking forward to Wednesday. I will be talking with Adam from the Hope Director from the Treasurer's Office at noon on Wednesday. And then also following up after that, because a lot of families may not have all of the info that they need to even make a decision on the Hope Scholarship for 23-24. So we're going to go back to a lot of the meat and potatoes that we were serving up early in this process, talking about compulsory education and exemptions, which is kind of necessary to fully wrap your brain around the Hope Scholarship. We'll talk about funding and I will answer questions. And we'll have Adam on those first few minutes just to give us an update from the Treasurer's Office. So for right now, there are a couple of things families want to know about reimbursement. So if you were approved for the Hope Scholarship or you had submitted your application to apply for the Hope Scholarship prior to July 6th, then you made that deadline. If you were already eligible for Hope Scholarship on July 6th and you did not apply, then you are not eligible to apply until the 23-24 window opens on March 1st. But for those who were awarded the scholarship and went ahead and chose private school or were exempt under Exemption C as a homeschool student, then they are going to be eligible for their full amount of the $4,300. And you can, for those who chose the school route, you can get reimbursed two separate ways. Your school can go ahead and reimburse you if they are doing it that way, if they so choose, or you can submit that too, and then they would bill your account once those funds are released in January, or you can submit your documentation to them for reimbursement. The survey is what parents need to be on the lookout for. That's going to be coming out from the Treasurer's Office and Step Up for Students over hopefully by the end of the week. So it's Monday, so hopefully by the end of the week, each student should receive a link to this survey from their office. So if you haven't checked, if you're not up on your emails, you're going to need to go make sure that you can get in that account, figure out which account it was that you used for signing up and communicating with the Treasurer's Office to make sure that you are receiving that. If you have questions, if you're not sure what email you have associated with them, I will drop the email that you need to use to contact the Treasurer's Office in the comments, because you need to make sure that you're ready to receive that survey. And then you'll fill that out for each child that was awarded or had applied for Hope Scholarship before July 6th. For providers, the portal should be open early November-ish. And so once that is back open is when we will be able to finish qualifying as providers, submitting all of our documentation. Questions on background checks. There isn't any specific language regarding the criminal background screening. So whatever method you've been using for background checks, you can continue to do that. The law does say that it's employees. So we've had a question, and we'll keep clarifying on this one, I think, because I've not gotten a solid answer. Maybe I will have it by Wednesday. But in the law, it says employees. So I get questions, and I have had the same question. If they're not an employee, if they're an independent contractor, if they're a volunteer, my thinking would be we would want everyone to have background checks. So hopefully I'll get an answer on that. For those of us who were approved and awarded the scholarship for this year, the renewal process is going to start in February instead of January. If you are anticipating enrolling in school to qualify for 23-24, if your child is currently under an exemption, disqualifying them from being eligible, and you would like to enroll them for the 45 days in order to become eligible, let's talk through that. I've been pretty transparent from the very beginning that I think this is an individual, not even something that each family could get a blanket decision on. I think this is very specific to the learner's needs and what is in their best interest as far as transitioning into public school. You do have the virtual charter options. And then you have your in-person school. Virtual through your county, their enrollment period is going to be for second semester. So that's like early January, mid-January. We would have to look specifically at what your county is doing if you're wanting to do county virtual for that second semester. But we did have the question, when could you go into school, and will the holiday break count towards your 45 days? And it will. And so if you enroll them at the end of this calendar year before that break begins, those days would count towards your 45 days. So for the families who are in the position and want to choose that, we just want to make sure that we're walking you through that process, guiding you and supporting you to make sure you have your questions answered. That's all that I've got as far as the Hope Scholarship update. You should be looking for a survey portal November. Yeah, if you have other questions, get those to me. We're going to talk with Adam on a Wednesday, and then I'm going to go through a very thorough, as is my nature, Hope Scholarship 101 workshop on Wednesday and talk about how is Hope funded, and again, compulsory attendance and exemptions from compulsory attendance, and why aren't homeschoolers eligible, and why were private school kids excluded, all the questions that you have. We spent a lot of time digging out answers when this all got started last year. So we're going to share that information with you on Wednesday at 12 o'clock. And that's all I've got. You guys have a great afternoon.